Hi everybody, this is Mike again. I'm working on my dog crate here. It's been about a week since the last video, and as you can see, we've made some progress so far. Last time I talked, we had finished most of the plywood. Since then, I've added the shelves and the divider, and once I had those on there, that was all the plywood that goes on here. The way I have this designed is so that when it's finished, there will be no edge of the plywood showing. So every edge is covered up by solid wood. And so the next step after the plywood, you're going to finish the interior of the dog crate living area, which is this spot right here. And I use solid wood for that because most pieces of the interior will be seen, will be shown. So like the next step would be to add these corner pieces. This is just a simple 1x2. There's one here, here, inside there, and this is a 1x3. This is going to be the edge of the door. So you would add those next, and then you're going to add a back to this. This is trim here, but on inside here there's another board the same size, which you can see right here. And this is actually 3/4 of an inch shorter than the trim board because it goes up to the bottom of the shelf above there. This one is going to use a barn door style door for it, and that requires that the trim piece here, this trim piece has to be big enough so that you have 3.5 inches from the top of the door to the shelf. That allows for the wheels and the bar. So I marked where the top of the door is going to be, and I measured up 3.5 inches, and that is how I came up with the length of this trim piece. So that's that. If you were going to do a regular hinged door, I would put an additional piece of trim right here, which will allow the door to close and not swing too far in, or it would actually give you a spot for the door to shut and you can latch it. So that's why I don't have it for this one. It's because this is going to have a different style door. So after you have all of the interior pieces on, then you can go ahead and put on all the trim. So when I do the trim, I start on one end, and I basically put the bottom piece down. It will run up flat flush against the back of the door to the flush of the floor here. And then I'll add, from there I put the side pieces on, then the top, and then the decorative top here. Then I'll go and do the other side exactly the same way. Then I come to the front, and I start on the bottom, and this piece will run up flush against the edge over here and go all the way to that side. And then from there on, I work my way up doing the sides. And then I'll add this piece here, and then I will slide all these pieces in and just piece it all together. Usually I will measure each piece as I'm building it. I don't cut all the pieces ahead of time, even though the measurements should be correct, because you want it to fit nice and snug. And so, you know, this may be, you know, a 1/16 of an inch different from over here. So I would just measure each piece and make them nice and snug. They fit in. And when they're done, after you've got all that on there, I cut the pieces for the bars and the door. As you can see, I've got it laid out here so you can kind of see how it's going to go. This piece will slide right in here, like that. The bars will fit on there and the top will sit on there. As you can see, we started painting it already. If you want to do that, you need to make sure that you leave this bare, because when I'm attaching the bars, this is going to be glued into here, and the wood glue does not bond to the paint as well as it does bare wood. So you want to make sure that that is not painted right here, and the same thing over here where the other bars are going to go. This can be painted. That's where the door is going to be. So it's basically anywhere you're going to add glue, you have to make sure that you have bare wood for that. And so when I'm putting the bars in, I do that very end. So I'll have everything finished, painted, and the last thing I do is add the bars. And the only reason I do that is because the bars are black and the rest of it's white, and it just makes it a lot easier to paint everything separate and then put it together after it's painted. So when I'm attaching this in here, I basically will turn this up, slide each piece in here one at a time. Like that. And come and do this side, and I'll start at one end and work my way down. Once I have it all together, I'll add the glue to the ends, glue to here, glue up here, and I just slide it into place. Set it in, got it nice and snug, and then I'll finish it with some finishing nails to hold it in place while the glue dries. So that's that. Another thing about these is I cut each of these 3/8 of an inch deep. This is a 1x2, so it's 1.5 or it's 3/4 inch thick. So I just drill half the depth of this, and I have a drill press to do that so that each piece is each hole is exactly accurate. I definitely recommend a drill press to do that. It's makes it much easier and accurate to do that. Let's see. So as you can see, they have all these spots of wood filler. I use this minwax stainable wood filler. I like it because it dries really fast and it sands really easily. So I go through and I fill every single nail hole. So yeah, I forgot to mention when I do the trim, these are all glued on, and then I attach them, hold them in place with finishing nails. I just have a little nail gun and just shoot everyone in there. It doesn't take long at all, it's really easy. But then you end up with tiny little holes everywhere there's a nail. So I just fill each of these little holes up with wood filler, and then it only takes about an hour to dry, and you can come back with your sander and just sand it all down. It doesn't take long at all. It's very easy, and it looks really good when you're done. So this is going to be the door up here, and I got it set up so that, and this is going to be the same case where I'll paint the whole thing first, and these are not painted yet either. I'm going to paint them black, but you want to clean them first. I've already cleaned them, and so these are ready to be painted. So for this one, I will do the same thing where I just slide these in one at a time. Doesn't matter if you do the top or the bottom. And these are each a 1/2 inch deep. I make them a little bit deeper just because you've got a lot more wood to work with. So I put them on like that, and then I use regular hole saw, or drill holes for the screws for this. And then I will just line them up and screw them together. And that makes for a good solid square door. And then that door is going to hang in front of here. I'm going to have a bar across the top and the door will slide back and forth, and it should look really nice when that's done. So that is, I think that's the dog crate. The next thing I'm working on over here